Good afternoon. Uh, it's been a good day so far. Uh, since I have gotten back for vacation, I've been making lists every day and completing all the things on my list. And I think there were like 10 things that I've already done and got taken care of today. Um, and I have the phone ringing right now. And so I need to see who that is. It says Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm going to just hang it up. Um, I wanted to talk today about something that I've kind of been getting into a little bit. So I've been listening to a podcast, and it's called "The Books of Kings." And there's two guys, and they're both lawyers. They're not members of the church, but they have a Christian background, I guess you could say, and they're Protestant. Um, but they are going through the books of Kings and Chronicles and talking about these things from a historical narrative perspective. And so they talk about the not only the scriptures and how everything is laid out in the scriptures, but they talk about the other nations and the idols and the practices of other kings and other nations and things like that, and how it all fits together in history. And I've really enjoyed it a lot. Also, today I picked up a book that I had purchased a while ago, The Jewish War by Josephus. Um, and I started reading some of that, and um, it's quite interesting. It's a long read, and I don't know if I'm going to finish it or not, but uh, there's a whole history behind, the destruction of the temple and all of that. Um, and it's just, it's wonderful that we have these um, resources where we can go back and we can look in history, and we can see how things were. um, but I think that there's a very important aspect about remembering history and why it's so important. um, and this was brought up in that podcast, and they were talking about an intellectual, somebody of sort of great renown, um, uh, that described the Holocaust as a second fall, uh, meaning, there's the first fall with Adam and Eve from the garden, but the atrocities that were committed during the Holocaust were so great that there was nothing ever before that was near as great. Um, and so it is a second fall. Nothing had ever been as bad as that, in you know even before. Um, and they kind of went into this idea that, while that might be the most recent of the great atrocities that have been committed um, in our world, there are things that have happened before the Holocaust that we may put on the same level. And that's not to, um, you know, to take anything away from the severity and the cruelty, the brutality, and just the sheer evil that was the Holocaust. But it is to say that humanity has been subject to great and awful atrocities throughout human history. The kings and nations of it's the Atlanta number again. So I'm gonna try and get it back later. Um, but I guess I just lost my point. It's distracting. I'm going to pick this back up later. And I apologize for this. I'm going to delete this video and try again.